Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming along. Oh, hello, baby. Mackie and I are having a very chilled out evening. Already in my pajamas, although she's been so asleep. And now the second I've decided to do this, she's suddenly, what is she playing with? An owl that my sister made me. Well, I got woken up this morning I was really tired. It's been a really long week again. And I woke up to Tom being quite cross because he'd got up with her and she'd managed to get away from him for about 30 seconds and shit on the landing. And then Klopp's middle name's Norbert. And then she'd thrown up. Well, not really thrown up, but she eats her breakfast really fast and then just regurgitates lumps of it onto the carpet and eats that. So she'd done that twice on the living room carpet. So then Tom was quite cross with her. So he's been in a stroppy mood all day. Is Tom streaming? Yes, he must be on his way back from Portsmouth, I think, or wherever this bouncy castle place that they went is. I haven't really followed what he's doing, to be honest. It's been a bloody long week. I'm God, so tired. Oh, I've just caught sight of my reflection. Ugh. But anyway, my darling little dog, we went for a walk today and posted some signed copies of Klopp, actually, which was really nice. That felt exciting. And I was putting them in their envelopes in the post office, and the woman in the queue behind me was like, "Is that book about the Liverpool manager?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it is. I heard it's really good. I don't know who wrote it. Shut up." Chris says, "Bouncy Castle. Yeah, they're doing an improv show on trampolines or something tonight." So there we go. That's been happening. So yeah, tonight's chapter. Chapter 17 we're up to. I've stuck my coffee link in the description. We've not had many donations for this story. I don't know, maybe you're not enjoying it as much, or everybody's just super broke from COVID. If you've not got money, it's absolutely fine. Do not worry. But if you are enjoying it and you have a little bit of spare cash, £3 a week seems fair for the work I'm doing. I'm sort of writing for sort of about 8 to 10 hours a week. And then the readings. So if you get the chance to drop me a cup of tea or some dog food for the little Snoopy, then that would be delightful. But feel no pressure if you are not earning either. Evening all, you stinky peeps. Yeah, I don't know why I called you stinky last time. That might be why there've not been very many donations for this story. But I gave you a big vote. I was tired of you guys all voting the same. So I was like, right, mate, I'm going to fight to get you to split your vote. And I bloody did it. It was very close. It was, there were 3 that all drawing on votes, and then 1 did edge it out in front. So that's what we've gone for. And there were really big differences. I had a great time reading all of your discussions on what you thought might happen. I love it when you're like predicting what the plot is when it's impossible, because I don't know what the plot is. It thoroughly depends on what you vote for. So you voted for one, and that has set some stuff in order. It's quite an exciting chapter. I'd say you voted well. You got a good outcome. There was an outcome. Oh yeah, I won't tell you that. Sorry, excuse me. Mackie, what you doing, baby? Mackie! Mackie! Stop doing that, please. I don't know if you've seen the videos I've put on social media today, but she's managed to get into her little basket of toys. She started belly flopping into it to pull her toys out, and it's the cutest thing. And every now, oh no, she's weeing. Oh, Mac. Well, I'll clear that up in a minute. Oh, today just hasn't quite gone how I wanted it to. I was so proud of her earlier because she weed on a walk for once, and now she's just weed in my office. Oh well, we've done it now. I'll sort it out in a minute. I give up trying to have it all. I give up trying to gig and write and work and keep my house nice and love my dog. It's too tiring. There's just too much. Mackie, don't eat a plug. Don't eat a plug, baby. Good girl. She's so great. I just need another me, I just need one more me to take responsibility for some stuff. Right, we're about 5 minutes off me just complaining about I'm already doing it. No, I love her. I can't believe she's just done that. I've taken her out so many times. Anyway, let's read the chapter, shall we? Oh, I love this tiny dog. Right, chapter 17. As her fingers made contact with the cool, smooth surface, she felt the most intense pressure underneath her skin. It began in her fingertips where they brushed the stone and spread through her whole body. Mackie! Oh. She felt her body near to bursting with pressure. Sometimes when I'm like, oh, hi, I'm all shiny and I just could never be one of those comedians that's like, hi, I'm super professional. Hopefully when I'm a mega superstar one day, these videos will be like, do you want to see Laura with no makeup on at 10 o'clock at night screaming at her dog for pissing in her office? Anyway, she felt her body near to bursting with pressure and pent up energy. She tried to pull her hand back away from the stone, but it felt fused to the surface. Marine's head felt too tight around her brain. Her eyes felt in danger of bursting out of her head. She felt at once burning hot and freezing cold. She was sure there must be light bursting out of her skin. It was as if she was too alive, feeling every single cell in her body brushing against the next one as it trembled to expend the extra energy she now contained. It was painful, this feeling, as though her insides were expanding at a rate faster than her skin could keep up with. She concentrated on breathing as coolly and calmly as she could, trying to let the feeling pass if it would pass. There might have been any number of the laboratory Tinginians talking to her, but she had no idea. Her ears were ringing with air and blood and a million thoughts. Mainly, am I going to survive this? As the overwhelming feeling pounded against her in wave after wave, she began to tire at the same time as feeling the most powered up she had ever felt in her life. Her arms began to feel like they couldn't go on much longer. Marine started to sag, feeling the power soaking back into the stone somehow. A fleeting image of her parents and family being led away from their homes in handcuffs crossed her mind, and she screwed up her forehead and concentrated. She's not going to pee on the stone, guys. Back attack. No, she heard her voice saying out loud. No, no. This feeling that she got from the stone. No, not you, Matt, you're fine. This feeling that she got from the stone proved that it was the lost stone, or at least an extremely powerful stone. Sorry, she's eating something. I'll be right back. Mackie, what you eating, baby? Oh, thank you. No, how about you don't? Some floor goop. This feeling that, why don't you come and sit on my lap, eh? And then we don't have to worry about you weeing on my ass. Say hello to everybody, you pissy little bitch. Right. I know, I love you too, but you did just wee on my office, didn't you? And that's... I love you too. Should we just give up? Should we just come back another day? Oh, no. Don't eat that eye. Right. Good girl. Good girl. That's it. Sit down. Good girl. Good girl. Blah, or at least an extremely powerful stone. Ezria had been right, and Van Weer was lying, and Marine knew this without question now. She couldn't get caught here again. She pulled her shoulders back, loosening the tense muscles and concentrating on the stone again. Her fingers didn't seem able to separate from the surface of the stone, but she moved her thoughts to focusing on the battle that was raging beneath her skin. Marine took a deep breath and listened to her body and her muscles. She could feel the rivers of power moving between her fingers and the stone, almost as if it were music. She let the tune wash over her and began, finally, to enjoy the sensation. It felt right to be touching the stone. It felt like part of her. She was meant to be here. Maureen realized she didn't know if she'd ever felt like she was supposed to be anywhere before. "Where's it gone?" she heard a voice behind her exclaiming in surprise. "It's vanished," said another. Maureen opened the eye she hadn't realized she'd closed and saw the voices were right. The stone had vanished before her eyes. It was nowhere to be seen, but she could feel it in her hand, as invisible as her fingers. She clutched it tightly, the swollen, bursting feeling in her skin having passed. She felt energized beyond belief. Her back felt straight and long, her legs bouncy and planted simultaneously. She slipped the stone into the pocket of her overalls and looked around the lab. Everything had gone into high alert. Tingians were racing around, trying to work out where the stone had gone. They inspected the plinth it had been on and the walls around. There were several people guarding the door, despite none of them having any idea how the stone could have been removed without them noticing. "We must contact Van Weer," said a Tingian in a tough lab coat. "Are you mad? She'll kill us all," screeched another, very deep into panic mode. Maureen grinned. Interesting, she thought. So they're just as scared of her as the rest of us. It comforted her to know that Van Weer didn't have an army of like-minded people, just a staff of terrified servants. That would make toppling her easier. As quietly as she could, Maureen made her way across the laboratory, taking great care not to bump into any of the panicking technicians and scientists. She edged closer to the door, waiting for it to open so she could take her moment and slip through. Eventually, it did open, and Maureen saw the timid face of Van Weer's assistant, Mavis, looking cautiously around the corner. Now, did we give Mavis an accent? What was Mavis's accent? I haven't got it written down. I need to add it to my, what's Mavis's accent, guys? Oh, she was Kenneth Williams. Bloody hell. This is nonsense, Mackie. I used to have a job, you know, babe. "Oh, is there a problem?" asked Mavis, looking at the nearest Tingian. Maureen didn't wait to hear an answer. She slipped past Mavis and into the empty corridor. She winced as I feel a bit like an evil Bond villain here, just stroking tiny dog. There she is. Look, she's having a little sit now. She's calmed down. Bless her. You're sleeping on the keyboard, my darling. "Oh, is there a problem?" asked Mavis, looking at the nearest Tingian. Maureen didn't wait to hear an answer. She slipped past Mavis and into the empty corridor. She winced as her arm brushed against Mavis's, and she noticed Mavis touch her arm absent-mindedly at the feeling. Maureen didn't have time to wait and see if Mavis had realized her presence. She ran to the other end of the corridor and listened carefully at the door. There were no sounds coming from the other side of it, but Maureen thought it was unlikely the guard would have disappeared from duty while there was a commotion within the lab. She paced back and forward, wondering what to do. It was a small corridor, and she couldn't wait for too long in case she was discovered by accident if a large party came through. It occurred to Maureen that she felt oddly confident in her invisibility staying, and she smiled. She ran the stone over and over the palm of her hand in her pocket, and an idea came to her. She gripped the stone and thought of the tiny assistant who had made her way through the door and into the laboratory moments ago. Maureen concentrated on the way she moved, the way she looked around nervously, perhaps waiting to be shouted at. Maureen thought through all the superficial layers of how Mavis behaved and began to remember the essence. Thank you, baby, that's very kind. Remember the essence of Mavis in the room, how it felt to be around her, the aura Mavis gave off, the feeling of what exactly she was combined of deep within her soul. Maureen took a deep breath and opened her eyes. She looked down at herself. It had worked. As quickly as she could, she opened the door and came face to face with the security guard on the other side. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, it's a new one. They haven't spoken yet. So I'm just going to choose...
How was everything in there? Asked the security guard nervously. I swear, you're the first person who has gone in or out of that door since Van Weer left.
Maureen smiled reassuringly at the guard and did her best to put his mind at ease.
Everything was fine, she said calmly. I can't remember how Kenneth Williams talks. Oh, matron, the stone seems to have some interesting qualities, but the technicians have it all under control now. I'm going to report back to Van Weer. I'll be sure to tell her how astute you have been. Maureen nodded a curt goodbye and walked swiftly away from the guard. As she rounded the corner out of sight, she let the feeling of Mavis drop and slipped back into invisibility. The stone in her pocket felt like a compass, guiding her through the possibilities of a world with magic. She slipped out of the lab and made her way fast and careful through the back streets and towards the cavern, her invisibility absolutely impeccable against the mud walls. Maureen appeared in the hollow of the cavern to see the small band of Tingians still laying scattered around where she had left them. She clutched the stone in her pocket, almost hopping with excitement and possibilities for what she could do now. She focused her gaze on each Tingian in turn, watching them carefully and pulling on strands of attunement from her mind towards them. She concentrated on Ezria first, looking at the dozing Tingian and recalling interactions they had had through years of teamwork. She felt the air around Ezria for signs of confusion, of trickery, but there were none. The air by Ezria was gentle, focused, and peaceful with itself. It reminded Maureen of cucumber root, and she smiled to herself. She moved her concentration around each of the other Tingians, and while they were wildly different and interesting in their own ways, they all felt gentle and smooth. Until she looked at Aysmar. As Maureen focused her mind onto Aysmar, she felt a vinegary sensation in the back of her throat and nose. The air around Aysmar was pulling in all directions. It felt hot and sharp, confused and unable to settle. So there was a mole, Maureen thought calmly. Bum, bum, bum. So yeah, your votes, which vote was it that meant that Aysmar was the mole? Oh, when you decided not to tell her that Maureen was invisible, that was what sank it that Aysmar was the mole. So if you had told her, she wouldn't have been the mole. But you said no, so she was the mole. She was going to be the mole if... what were the other options on that one? If you'd said yes, but they said the invisibility was Van Weer's doing, then she was not the mole. But she does encourage them to tell the team, and one of the team is a mole. And if you'd gone for no, but when Maureen is visible again, they do reveal that she has some magic. She wouldn't have been the mole, and the mole would not have been in the team. So those were your votes on that. So you're the ones that made Aysmar the mole, not me. But yes, she is a bloomin' mole. Wop, wop, wop. So your choices for now that Maureen suspects what? Yeah, Mackie's not very big on fantasy fiction. You're more of a chick lit girl, aren't you, baby? Yes. What does Maureen do about suspecting Aysmar? So you get to decide, a straight up decision from you guys as to what she does. Your choices are, does she tell Ezria quietly alone? Does she talk to Aysmar quietly and alone? Does she call out Aysmar in front of everyone? Does she kill Aysmar? Or does she tell no one? Oh, John says stabber. Yeah, there you go. Vote number 4, killer. So those are your options. There's little Mackie. Mackie, there's you, baby. You say hello. Oh, you're my sad-looking dog. She just looks at... Oh, yep, she's just fully lying down on the keyboard now. Okay. I now can't get to the trackpad because my pissy little dog has lain down on it. Mackie, can I get to my computer, please, babe? No? I know I did move you up here, but we have work to do, darling. So those are your options. Go to Ezria quietly. Go to Aysmar quietly. Call out Aysmar in front of everyone. Kill Aysmar or tell no one. She's already killed a guard and Mavis. Whoa. I mean, I jokingly joked that one of the guards was dead, but maybe she has. Oh, I mean, surely Van Weer's responsible for those deaths rather than Maureen if Van Weer chooses to kill them, right? Anywho, it's up to you. Oh no, those are my headphones. I'm going to take this dog back downstairs, and I love you all very much. We can squeeze 4 in next week, which is exciting. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday we can have live streams next week. So we'll do 10 o'clock Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll do midnight on Friday for the Antipodeans. So there you go. I will see you. Thank you, John. I will remember to clean up the wee. I'll see you all next week. Love you. Bye.